Hello everyone and welcome to episode 7 of Sycamore Farm, and in today's episode I build the habitat for the Alpine goats, which is mainly from the French Alps, which is just like a mountain range along the eastern part of France, and it's also found in America. And yeah, I'll explain later in the video, but there are two types of Alpine goats. There are the French Alpine goats and the American Alpine goats, but we'll get to that later. But first I'd like to talk a little bit about this habitat. This habitat was mainly inspired from just goat habitats I've seen over the years, usually with a barn. Um, Usually you can walk into the barn and go around within the barn, but I thought due to the sort of open fields we have in this area, I thought we'd give them a little bit of free roam as well. So I've made the majority of the habitat free roam, and also followed in the style of the sheep habitat rather than the pig habitat. For the other side of the pig habitat, which is where the chickens and I think I'm going to do wallabies as well, but I think mainly chickens and the play area, which I'm hoping to do next video. I wasn't going to do the goat this video, but I changed my mind last minute. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do the chickens and the play area, because they go hand in hand really. And I'll do some chicken coops. I'm probably going to nick some chicken coops off the workshop. I'm sure you know where to find most of them, as they are quite common to find. And I think I'm also going to build an open area, which is what I like doing the foliage work, for the chickens, so they can go in and out the coop and also into the open areas, which I will definitely enjoy doing. But yeah, then again, I've also used the same signs as I've done throughout the whole zoo so far. I don't think I have a sign. I haven't downloaded the sign for the wallaby, but we'll see as I get further down the line. I might add the wallaby or not. I've changed my mind about it, and I thought I don't really want to detract from the barnyard, like farm, the Sycamore farm too much. So I thought, I might change that idea and just keep the sort of barnyard animals as the main sort of area. But we'll see when we get to the end of the zoo and see if I've got any sort of areas. You're about to see me do one of my favourite bits of this habitat, which is organising, I don't know what you call it, but almost like that top of the roof. I thought I could change it and make it a little bit unique, because obviously I think this one was nicked off the workshop, I can't remember, but I definitely made one in one of my other zoos, and then I gave up after that and I officially stopped building most of my objects. I mainly get them off the workshop and just plop it together. I definitely recommend doing that if you are new to this sort of, not necessarily new to the game, but also just a little bit experienced. But yeah, it's definitely a good shout. Also, I've just noticed Planet Zoo have added those gates. You know them gates that didn't have a fence? They've added the fence types, and I was going to put them in this enclosure, but they didn't really fit in with that, like the different types of wood, because I've got the white wood, the dark brown, and then the gate, and they're all kind of a little bit similar, so I was trying to find a different fence. And I have heard that the goats are really good escape artists. Like if there's a barrel, they will knock over the barrel, roll it to the edge, and then jump over it. So they are really, really smart animals. But I decided just to go for it and do my nice rock wall barrier, which you'll see me do now. But yeah. Also, I have enabled mating and like baby animals basically. So we are going to start to find some baby animals throughout the video as well, if you want to see them. I popped to them throughout, but I've also slowed them down towards the end, because when I finished this habitat, we had so many babies, I was not expecting there to be that many. So I think I've just kind of stopped it, and then we might return to that in the later episodes, or I might do a little bit off camera where I just sort like the population out, because like I want to have baby goats as well, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, also I'm thinking of changing one of the previous areas where the swan pond is, and the butterfly garden. I'm thinking of doing that back area off camera. Um, I was thinking of doing it on camera and doing like a final detail sort of thing, but I thought, no, I'm just do that off camera. A little bit less effort for me to have to edit a video and stuff, so I thought I'd just do that off camera. It's not going to be particularly interesting. Um, it's just me going to be planting a lot of trees and trying to make it look more like an ancient woodland rather than anything else. But yeah, while I've run out of things to talk, I'm just going to go through some good old goat facts. But yeah, as I said previously, there are two types of Alpine goats. There are the French Alpine goats and the American Alpine goats. I'm pretty sure they were sent over in 1922, but they were definitely sent in the early 1900s, where the purebred Alpine, French Alpines, were kind of sent over, and then they officially became the American Alpine goats, where they're not fully pure, sort of, I don't know what you call it, necessarily French Alpine goats. They're a little bit mixed in with the native ones, so they're not purebreds, but all the American Alpine goats are part of the Alpine variety. They're just a little bit, they've been there so long, they've kind of diverted a little bit, and yeah, they're a little bit all over the place. But these goats are relatively big, so they're about medium to large in size. You can get pygmy goats, which are quite popular among people, but these were around between 130 to 190 pounds. Obviously, the 190 pound mark is where the bucks are, which are the male goats, and the reason why they're so big is mainly because they're adapted for climbing and navigating the Alps, which are just mountains. And yeah, in the game they also perfectly show the horns off, which they are known for, and they have these beautiful curved back horns, and they've also got these ears which stay upright all the time, which is in fact quite rare upon these sort of breeds. The upward ears are mainly used for alertness and enhances their hearing, which will basically in turn help them escape predators. The predators in the Alps, I'm not too sure what predators are there, but I don't think they are bears. The bears are more Eastern Europe. The lynxes, I'm sure there's lynxes in the Alps, but they don't have many predators except us, obviously, but that is mainly it. But obviously, ages ago, the French discovered these Alpine goats and thought, oh, what they do, and then they ended up finding that they produce milk. And this milk is ideal for making cheese and butter, and in fact, most of the French cheese and butter is made from the Alpine goats, which is quite a good fact. The Alpine goat has very high butter fat, they call it, and it's a very creamy substance. It's very good for like baking and stuff like that, which is quite interesting. But yeah, it's just really rich in flavour and has a really high nutritional value. I was also looking up what like goat milk is used for, and a lot of them are actually used for cheese, yogurt, and soap. And soap, I've never heard of it being used for soap. I have heard of like sheep wool being used for slug repellent. Don't ask me how that works. I've just heard of that, and never heard of soap being made by milk. So that's a new fact for me. They are also very friendly. They have like a outgoing personality, so they're known for this among the French, where they like to escape and just go on a tour of the place, and they're really easy just to put back because they're really docile, but they're just really good at adapting to places basically. And this is why they're so big in commercial use. They are used mainly in, obviously, for the milk, Not much for the meat, which is good because goat meat is not very nice. I've never had it, but I've heard that it's I don't know. It's meant to be all right, but like, as in of all the meats you can have, like steak, you know, it's not that high. But yeah, these Alpine goats also have a pretty short lifespan. They usually live between 10 to 12 years, but if they are obviously looked after nicely and not too much milk is being resourced off of them, they can last for a lot longer, which is quite interesting. But if you did want to look after an Alpine goat, they are quite common to find. They're quite a hardy species. They are used to hot, cold, arid, all them sort of climates. Um, they don't really suffer from hoof rot that often either, because their hooves are adapted for being in snow as well. So they don't particularly get that, which is quite a big thing about hoof stock. And yeah, that's quite a good overall animal to keep. Um, I don't really understand how they're good, how they live in the Alps, and then they can somehow live in like a Texas or a hot place like that. Um, but that's just how goats work. I'm trying to find any other facts, but I really struggle finding facts about these. But my last one I found is mainly about their colour. They have a lot of different morphs. I'm not gonna say them all, but I'm gonna so mess this up. One of them is called the Chamoisé, 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 which is known in the game as well. And there's two types of Chamoisé. I can't say that word. There is the broken Chamoisé and the two-tone Chamoisé. There's not much difference between them, except the basic Chamoisé kind of has this brown, little bit of black sort of markings, and just that general sort of goat looking. And then you've got the two-tone Chamoisé, which has a little bit of black, a little bit of white, a little bit of grey. It's very broken up, and there's obviously two main colours involved in that one. And you've also got the broken Chamoisé, which I don't really understand how this works, but by definition, apparently is called banded or splashed by another colour, which I don't understand what that means. I'm not a goat specialist, but banded or splashed is very weird terminology for fur. I don't know why they use that, but yeah. I also, looking to the video, I've also done this sign. I like to see what you guys think of this, because I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of this sign. I just feel that, I don't know, I think it's the how clean it is, and I like the bubbly writing. But this one's not necessarily smaller, but I don't know, it just looks a bit more formal, and I feel like this goes quite well because it's almost like the newish sort of habitat. And also, I've also been to a petting farm recently, which is quite exciting. We usually go to a petting farm every now and then, so I'm quite excited to go. And yeah, we've done. I've looked at the goat habitat, and I thought that looks similar to the one I've done. Would have been nice to look a bit before, but that's how the cookie crumbles. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and if you want to be named after an animal, be sure to leave it in the comments and I will do that as quick as I can. And yeah, I will see you on the next video, which I should hopefully be doing the chicken and play area. See ya, bye!